What's up? I'm Jake. We're in Joshua Tree National Park. I'm about to climb the headstone formation to hopefully get an amazing shot of Comet NEOWISE. So pretty excited, hopefully to catch some magic tonight. Hopefully we have some good light, so.
Sweet,
Yeah.
And there it is up there.
Hi everyone, this is Theevs. Welcome to another episode of The Setup. In this episode, I want to take you behind the scenes on a shot I took of Comet NEOWISE and some rock climbers in Joshua Tree National Park. Comet NEOWISE popped up in the middle of the summer of 2020. As soon as I learned that it was going to be visible at night, particularly right near sunset, my wheels started turning and I got really excited to plan out a shot. So in order to do so, I knew I had to go to a place where I'd get some clear, dark skies away from light pollution with lots of different options to line it up. So knowing that the comet was going to be setting in the northwest portion of the sky, I knew exactly the direction I needed to be. I needed to find a place where I could be about 100 meters or so away from my subject and find a rock formation where they would be high enough in the sky where they could actually be silhouetted by the comet. So I turned to my rock climbing buddy Jacob, who's an absolute master rock climber and extremely knowledgeable of rock climbs all over Southern California. And he had the idea of going to the Headstone Rock Formation in Ryan Campground.
Well, I was thinking of a structure that I could access to get into that position that was also within that range of the sky. Headstone formation seemed a pretty obvious and straightforward option. There's a lot of varying difficulty on the feature. There's easy climbs from a 5.6. It was one of my first climbs out here in the park. Really cool 5.8. And there's really hard stuff on the opposite side.
So to pull this shot off, I knew I was going to be needing to use a long lens and a very low light sensitivity camera. So naturally I went with my Sony a7S II. It's really great for nighttime photography because it can push the ISO, the light sensitivity, really high and not get too much noise or grain in the image. I also knew that I wanted to use a long lens in order to be really far away from the rock climbers, but still get them really detailed to fill up a little bit of the frame, but not too much, enough so that we could see the vastness of the rock climb that they're doing, as well as the vastness of the comet. So I switched over to my 70 to 200 millimeter lens, Sony f4 G Master. For this setup, I had to place myself about 100 meters or so away and actually a little bit elevated. So what was great about finding the Headstone Rock Formation was the fact that it's really big itself, but I could scramble up a small little rock face that put me at about 10 meters high as well, so that I could have lots of time to be in almost a parallel shot of the climbers and the comet all in one straight line. To actually pull this shot off, it was kind of challenging because being an f4 lens, it's not that sensitive to light. I'm still saving up for that f2.8, but it is sensitive enough. It just meant that I had to use longer exposures and higher ISO to capture everything. Thankfully, the comet was really bright, so I didn't have to pump the ISO that much or the shutters exposures that much. So I was shooting this at f4 and playing around with using long exposures of 1 to 10 seconds. I think most of the best shots ended up being shot at 4 seconds, all with an ISO of 12,800. It's a really high ISO I wouldn't normally like to shoot at, but with an f4 lens, I needed to crank that up so I could keep my shutter speed as short as possible so I don't have to direct the rock climbers to be standing still for a long period of time. Thankfully, Jacob is a pro and we've done some shots like this before in the past, and he is great. He is literally solid as a rock. He can hold his positions for a really long time.
The obvious risk as a climber going into that situation is it's dark out, so your visibility is not nearly as good, and just kind of making sure you stay safe and connected to the rock at all times. It's just a matter of finding where the anchor is and where to position myself correctly to be eclipsed by the comet. You have your ATC, right?
Yeah, it's got
Good.
So thanks for tuning in. This was an absolutely amazing adventure. So much fun to plan and execute, and we were so stoked when we pulled it off. I can't tell you how exciting it was to see the comet for the first time. I hope that you were able to do that. If not, you're ready for the next one. It's going to be a long wait, but at least that's plenty of time to plan. So thanks for tuning in on this setup. Special thanks to Jacob, my crew, Chris and Johnny, and we hope that you tune in on the next episode.